Friday night, you're at a dinner with 4 friends, pizza, beer, good conversation, until at some point the subject changes. Someone starts talking about their ex who was manipulative. Someone else complains about a boss who's a narcissist. The third one opens up about that passive-aggressive coworker who smiles to your face and stabs you in the back. And when it's your turn, you have yours too. Everyone does. The whole table has a toxic person in their life. Not to mention those lunatics on the internet who think they know everything about everything. The pizza goes cold, the beer gets warm, and everyone agrees. People are getting worse and worse. If everyone around you has toxic people in their lives, what's the common denominator? It's not that you're unlucky. There's a specific reason those people are close to you. My name is Kobe, and today I'm going to show you why that happens. First, yes, people are more toxic. You're not imagining things. There's a factory of toxic people running at full steam, and it gets bigger every day. But the detail, unfortunately, is that you're attracting these people without even realizing it. The first point, the world really is producing people who are harder to live with. The world is becoming a more unpleasant place to be. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer had a metaphor that I haven't been able to get out of my head since I read it. He described humanity as a group of hedgehogs on a winter day. When it's cold, they need to huddle together to stay warm. But when they get too close, the quills hurt. When they move apart, the cold comes back. So they stay in this dance. Too close hurts, too far freezes. This goes on their whole lives. Beautiful and sad, right? But Schopenhauer was talking about the year 1851. And back then, the hedgehogs at least tried. Today, we don't even try anymore. We've replaced real closeness with a digital version where you can have 2,000 friends and not a single genuine conversation, where you can connect with someone without ever looking them in the eye, where you can be intimate with someone without ever having sat through an uncomfortable silence beside them. And digital contact is not the same as physical contact. That distance didn't reduce the quills. It amplified them, because now you have quills and anonymity. And when a person has quills and knows there will be no consequences, what happens? What happens is what we see on the internet today: toxicity and intolerance. Think about it. That guy who insults you in the comments, that person who cancels someone over a post from 2014, that hater who sends a message of hatred to someone they've never met, do you think that person would do that looking you in the eyes, or at a dinner table, or in the office hallway? Never, not in a million years. In person, that would never happen, because eye contact has consequences that don't exist for someone hiding behind a screen. That's why it's so easy, and why so many people spread their venom on social media. The internet created a new kind of courage, a courage that requires no courage at all. You can destroy someone's reputation in 20 words and go to sleep without a care. You can shout your opinion to millions of people without ever having to defend it in front of a single person. And most of the people who do this wouldn't survive 3 questions. Just 3 questions, the kind Socrates asked in Greece 2,500 years ago. He would stop someone on the street and ask, "You say you know what justice is. Explain it to me." The person would explain. Socrates would ask a second question. The person would stumble. By the third, there was nowhere left to hide. Most of the opinions you read on the internet are sandcastles, where people are in an endless battle to see who can shout the loudest. It's the substitution of argument with volume. Quality loses ground to quantity. And when an entire society operates this way, what it produces are not citizens, they're fans. People who picked a side and will defend it to the death, not because they thought it through, but because they saw someone saying it and are simply repeating it. After all, thinking takes effort. And this is where the second piece of the factory comes in. It's not just digital distance producing toxic people, it's what we're doing to our brains. And I need to be direct here, because this point is more serious than it looks. Pick up your phone and look at your screen time report. It's probably between 2 and 4 hours a day. Now think about what happens during those hours. During that time, you're not reading, you're not thinking, you're not building anything, you're just receiving stimuli one after another. Every 15 seconds, a new video. Every 3 seconds, a decision. Do I watch or do I scroll? The brain has become a labyrinth, pressing a dopamine lever. When the brain gets used to dopamine every 15 seconds, it loses the ability to sustain attention on anything that takes longer. A book, unbearable. A long conversation, boring. Sitting in silence with your own thoughts, impossible. And a person who can't think deeply, what do? They simplify. Here's the central point. The world turns black and white. Opinions become absolute. And the worst part is that anyone who disagrees automatically becomes an enemy. This isn't malice in itself. It's cognitive atrophy. The ability to accept that a subject might have 5 sides and none of them is completely right. That requires cognitive effort. And spending 3 hours a day on TikTok is exactly what will cause you to lose that capacity. I went through this. There was a time when I couldn't read a full page without picking up my phone 1 page. And the worst part, I hadn't even noticed. I started thinking the book was the problem. When you look around and see ignorant people giving opinions on everything with absurd confidence, that is the literal representation of everything we've been talking about. It's a generation that stopped reading, stopped thinking, stopped making cognitive effort. The person knows nothing about the subject, but they know the tone of voice of someone who does. And in the world of screens, tone matters more than content. That's the factory. Distance without consequence. Dopamine without effort. Opinion without foundation. Now comes the part that changes everything. So let's return to the question I asked at the beginning. If everyone around you is toxic, why are you always at that table? There's an answer that most videos about toxic people will give you. Cut those people out of your life, set boundaries, move on. And it's not wrong, but it's incomplete, because even if you cut one of those people out of your life, 6 months later another one will appear with a different face, but the same dynamic, the same type of conflict, the same feeling in your stomach. That's not bad luck, it's a pattern, and patterns don't repeat by accident. A French thinker named René Girard spent his entire life studying why human beings enter into conflict, and he reached one conclusion. He argues that our desires are merely illusions because human beings wouldn't know what to desire on their own. He argues that we copy other people's desires. You don't want that job because you coldly analyze that it's good for you. You want it because someone you admire has something similar. You don't want that type of relationship because you reflected on what makes you happy. You want it because it's the model that was sold to you as ideal. When everyone desires the same thing, it becomes scarce and rivalries emerge. Those rivalries spread generating a crisis of frustration, anxiety, and violence. To prevent the group from destroying itself in a war of all against all, this diffuse collective hatred is channeled and unleashed upon a single individual considered vulnerable or different. And when the group sacrifices or expels that individual, the tension dissipates. The group mistakenly attributes the restored peace to the sacrificed victim, creating a scapegoat and casting them as the cause of social order. When you point the finger, the relief is immediate, temporary, but immediate. That is the social function of the scapegoat. Now think about that person you call toxic. I'm not saying they're an angel, but before you condemn them, ask yourself honestly, have they become your scapegoat? Because this is where things go truly deep. Gabor Maté is a physician who spent decades treating people with addiction and those experiencing homelessness. He arrived at a striking phrase. The question is not why the addiction, but why the pain? He argues that every destructive behavior is an adaptation to an unhealed wound. The person isn't toxic because they decided to be difficult. They're toxic because they learned that behavior was the only way to survive. And the worst part, we attract people whose wounds fit ours. The controlling person attracts the submissive, the emotionally distant attracts the needy, the explosive attracts the peacemaker. It's not chance, it's a fit. The wounds recognize each other before you even know each other. And until you look at the wound, the fit repeats itself. New face, same dynamic, forever. Søren Kierkegaard, a Dane who lived in the 19th century and is considered the father of existentialism, said that the most dangerous form of despair is the one in which the person doesn't know they are in despair. Read that again. The worst form of despair is not knowing you're desperate. That sentence alone is already deeply unsettling. When you repeat the same pattern of toxic relationships for the third, fourth, fifth time and keep thinking people are just like that, you are in that despair. You are trapped in a cycle and you don't know it. And until you know it, you can't get out. The first step to solving any kind of problem is recognizing that there is a problem. People who attract toxic individuals may not know the reason for this problem because no one ever stopped to tell them. Look, the problem isn't only out there. Part of it is in here. And that part you can change. And that's exactly what I'm telling you right now. Not to blame you, not to judge you. I include myself in this. I've been the guy who complained about everyone and didn't look at himself. I've been the hedgehog, blaming others for the quills I was driving in myself. It's not easy to admit that, but it's necessary because it's the only thing that gives you real power. If the fault were only the world's, you'd be a hostage with no power to do anything. That would be terrible. But if part of the equation is yours, you have the power to change it, and that's not a burden. It's liberation. So I'll close with 3 proposals, for me and for you. First, before calling someone toxic, run the 3-question test. Ask yourself, 1, what exactly did this person do? 2, am I reacting to what they did or to what they make me feel? 3, and does what they make me feel have to do with them or with something I've been carrying from past experiences? If you don't survive your own 3 questions, maybe that person isn't so toxic after all. Second, identify the wound that attracts the pattern. Look at the last 3 difficult relationships in your life. Don't look at what the other person did. Look at what you felt. What emotion repeated itself? What role did you take on? The peacemaker, the one who swallows everything, the one who explodes and then regrets it, That role is the signature of your wound. And until it has a name and is identified, it will choose your relationships for you. Third, leave the factory. The toxicity factory runs on 3 ingredients: distance without consequence, dopamine without effort, and opinion without foundation. Every time you shout an opinion without having thought about it for more than 90 seconds, you're feeding the factory. Every time you criticize someone without first thinking about what led that person to act that way, you're on the assembly line. To leave the factory, you need to train your cognitive capacity. And nothing does that better than good reading. 30 minutes of reading a day will change your brain's synaptic connections. Pick up a good book and start today. I'm currently rereading George Orwell's incredible novel, 1984. I started this video talking about a dinner, 4 friends, everyone with a toxic person in their life, everyone agreeing that people are getting worse. Now, I hope you'll reflect when you're alone, in silence, without an audience, because it's there where no one can see you that the answer appears. Are the people around you more toxic? Yes, they are. The factory won't stop, but your seat at that table, that you can move, you can do your part. My name is Kobe, and this was another video from the After the Cave channel. Leave a comment and a like, and until next time.